Alright guys, Tush coming at you. No time like the present to start the sanding, I guess. So we've got the front fender out there. That's the driver's side front fender. We're going to start off with that. And just thought I'd give you a quick overview of what I'm going to do to resand this to get it ready for base coat again. So here's what I've got, and I'll just run you through my thought process. So I'll turn Bob down here a little bit. So the first thing I got is a nice clean stainless steel pail. I just washed that out with dish soap, and then I've cleaned it out with Comet just to make sure it's nice and clean. There's nothing in there that might screw up my water when I go ahead and soak my wet sandpaper. So I prefer the stainless bucket versus a plastic bucket, because sometimes I think the plastic bucket can sort of hold on to some contaminants. So that's why I prefer to go with stainless steel in the garage anyway. So then I've got a bunch of chemicals here. I'll just run you through what I'm going to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wash that panel down with some Dawn and get it nice and clean as far as that's concerned. I may actually follow that up with some Windex. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it with some wax and tar, grease and wax remover, whatever you want to call it. I've got a couple different types here that I'm going to use. I think I have a Matrix brand around here somewhere as well. So after we clean it down with the dish soap and the Windex, we're going to hit it with the grease and wax remover. And then it'll be ready to sand. You got to do that basically before you start sanding, because you don't want to sand any of the contaminants that you may have on the panel into the paint. And in some cases I've actually gone ahead and either buffed this, so I've actually used some polishing compounds on it. So for instance, I've used in some cases the fast wax from Presta after doing the cutting and buffing. So some panels I've actually went ahead and cut and buffed, like the hood and the trunk lid. But some of the fenders I haven't never got around to. I figured that I was going to need to repaint them anyway, but just to be safe, we want to make sure we get all that stuff off before we go and do anything as far as sanding is concerned. So we want to make sure that we clean it really well before we start to sand. I've got also here, I'll just go through this quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 600 grit wet sandpaper. So I've got some 3M and I got some Norton sandpaper here. So we're going to sand that down to 600 grit wet. Some guys suggest that for the edges of the panels, like around the edges, you may want to hit it with a little bit of Comet and water, or hit it with a red Scotch-Brite. So just to make sure that you've got everything sanded down, the paint will stick when you go to spray it. So we've got the Comet there for that, and we've got the red Scotch-Brite for that as well. You can get that scrub soap. I can't remember the name of what it's actually called, but you can get that scrub soap. I've seen it on my friend Pete's SWRNC's channel, but I think I'm just going to go with the Comet just on the corners of the panel, just to make sure I get everything as far as sand is concerned. I've got the drying things, the 3M, the rubber squeegees here, another little rubber squeegee thing that I use to sort of dry off the panel to see whether I've got everything dulled down nicely. Some people actually guide coat when they sand, even if they're resanding down clear coat. I've actually done this on my primers, but you technically could do it with a clear coat if you wanted to make sure that you sanded everything down equally before you go to back to your base coat. Shop towels, obviously nice lint-free shop towels. I also have some new microfiber cloths up there if need be. Usually what I do for a final wipe down before I actually go to paint is I rub it down or wipe it down with grease and wax remover again, and then we'll hit it with rubbing alcohol as well as a final. I've got my blocks here. I've got a couple different blocks from a firm Durablock to a softer block. This one's from McGuire's, and then everything sort of in between. This is sort of a semi-firm, and then I've got a really soft block if I want to do some soft blocking. So that's pretty much all I've got ready to go for the car. So I think what I'll do now is, like I said, I think I'll do the first step and wash that panel down and make sure it's good and clean before I go ahead and start sanding on it. Alright guys, I just want to give you a quick rundown of what I'm going to do and my thought process. Alright guys, we'll talk to you in a bit. I guess if there's one bright spot to this whole thing, it's allowing me to fix some runs a little bit more easily. I haven't wet sanded this panel yet, so I don't know if you can see it or not. It's hard to see in this light. There's a definite run there. So we'll sand that out carefully, and at least it'll allow us to get that perfect before we go to the next base coat, or back to base coat. So yeah, I don't know whether you can see that coming through the camera or not, but anyway, slight run there, and we'll sand that out first. Alright guys, we got the first pass done, and we're just taking a look to see if we got any shiny bits. And white's a hard color, but you can see, I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, there's some shiny bits there. So I obviously missed sanding there. And there's some shiny bits here. So we've got to go back over and sand that. I can see some shiny bits along this edge as well. So anyway, we think we've got most of the panel. There's some bits here. So we'll go back over and we'll inspect it closely, and we'll get the sandpaper out again and see what we missed. Alright, I don't think white's the easiest color. Obviously I still have to do this edge, and I'll do that when the fender's standing up on its end, or on its edge, so it'll be a little bit easier. But this is almost done. We'll just continue on. Wherever it's shiny, we'll hit it again. Guys, one down. Everything is suitably dull. So I think we're good to go on this fender. The only thing I need to do is this channel here, and I'll do that when it's standing up on the stand. But other than that, everything else looks good. Don't think I missed any spots, which is good. Nothing shiny. So I think that's good to go. So what we'll do is we'll drag out the other panel, and we'll start doing the same process on that one. And we'll get that ready for paint. And then we'll move on to the rear fenders. Alright guys, we'll upload this and we will talk to you later.